Hello everyone. Welcome to Decipher Sociology, and we are going to launch a new program for 2026 aspirants or those aspirants who will be writing their first mains in 2026. The program is known as Sociology Mentorship Program, and mentorship is not a new word because you would have heard about it many times, and this mentorship word has become quite popular, especially in the civil services scenario. Okay, so we assume that you know it. Still, we are going to give you a short introduction about what it means, what you will be getting. Now, firstly, what happens that when a person is studying, or in today's era, most of us, most of you, you are planning to go for self study. This is why this word has become very important, because when you are opting for self study, that means probably you cannot go for full fledged coaching. You cannot leave everything. For example, some of you are studying. So, side by side, when you think that, okay, let me start civil services preparation also, then what happens? The main thing which is significant is direction. You need a direction. You need a person to whom you can reach out to whenever you have any doubts, or who can tell you that no, these are not the things you should focus on. So, a person who will always help you be on track, very much important, who will help you maintain your momentum, because civil services is a very long journey and you are definitely going to go through different ups and downs during your entire journey, which is why you require at least one. Of course, if there are more persons you can reach out to, very good, but minimum one person is required to whom you can, who can attend your doubts. Okay, now when you are reading this subject, there are many lectures available, lot of study material, especially in sociology there is no dearth of study material. But then we also have a problem with the availability of material, which material to choose, whose lectures you should watch, which notes you should refer to. These are the problems which every aspirant faces. Then what happens when you have finally chosen you have selected the material, the lectures, everything has been set, and now you are going to start your preparation. Then what happens that in sociology you will see many concepts. Now, these concepts are not isolated. You have to relate it with other keywords of the syllabus. In short, you have to understand the bigger picture. So, here your mentor will help you in interrelating those concepts. For example, if you are studying women or children, then you can relate it with polity, in family, in religion, in work. So these are the different areas and many more where you can relate this particular word with. And this is also applicable to other words of the syllabus. So, because you are a beginner, or even if you have studied a bit of sociology, what happens is that you require an expert knowledge, a person who is going to give you a brief intro of these interrelations, correlations, will help you see the bigger picture. And since the beginning, you have to make it a habit to keep revising. You cannot keep revision for the end. Why? Because the syllabus is, although it is not huge as compared to other optionals, but in civil services, what is going to happen is that for mains, you will have to write 9 papers. So revising everything at the end will be a humongous task, which is why when you keep revision or keep this part as a weekly affair, then what happens? You will be very strong in your optional, and day by day, your optional will be more strengthened, more fortified, right? And finally, because we also have Indian sociology as a part of the syllabus, so when we learn the concepts, we will also have to apply everything that we learn to Indian society, because of course you are going to be civil servants, and that is why you have to understand what all problems that you're going to face while serving the Indian society, and that is why this subject becomes very significant. Now, why do you need this course? First of all, there are many people who are managing without this course also. Now, here what happens that when you are joining or you are taking the help of someone, then when you are studying, what happens that if you have heard of something called mind mapping or visual imaging, you will realize that this helps you in grasping the subject very fast. For example, you are studying religion. So you have to study all its theories, all its parts, and how religious minorities are adversely affected, what are the problems they are going through, what are the different religions. So when you start making images, when you start making notes in images or pictures, what happens is that you start evolving, you start understanding, and your subject understanding goes wide, right? So what happens? The next part becomes easy because ultimately you have to write this paper in the exam hall. Now there will be a very important factor, which is understanding the examiner's perspective. So this, the mentor helps you by going through the PYQs. Especially we focus on 10 years PYQs. And of course, if this is done, you can go backwards also. But 10 years PYQs or doing them is a must. So here you will have someone who is going to explain this perspective, what the examiner means. So understanding the question is very important, and this holds the key to writing a very good answer. Now, there are many people who are going to start sociology preparation, let's say after prelims, after this year's prelims, okay? Or some would be doing much later, the 11th hour preparation doing, okay? But the right time for you is now. Why? Because the right time to complete your optional is October of the previous year, which is this year. So when you start now, you can easily cover by October, including answer writing, short note making. Why short? Because you do not have to write a book. Instead, you have to make short notes, write about thinkers, perspectives, some statistics which you can revise. So, when you have planned your year, what happens is that even the GS preparation gets streamlined, because optional is the first preference for everyone. So what happens when you are done with planning your optional? Then everything becomes smooth, and now you can allot the remaining time to GS, essay, and other subjects, right? Also, what happens that there is something known as value addition or current affairs, because now the examiner's style is changing. We have more number of dynamic questions, which means the examiner is asking you about the latest news, about the latest movements, about latest statistics, reports which are being prepared. So if you do this at the last moment, you will not remember, because these are things which have to be memorized. And if you start now, if you make it a habit of remembering or memorizing at least few facts every week, then gradually you will be able to complete the entire portion before prelims. You can do it, and after that, of course, you will be in touch with the newspaper, but your work will be done more or less. And finally, as we said, it helps you in revision, because revision means learning something or doing something over and over a period of time. It is not a last moment affair. Okay, so what is included here? That will be your most important question. Now, the first one is, we will be giving you recorded lectures for every topic and, if needed, for every subtopic. If you have seen the syllabus, you will see that paper 1 is divided into 10 chapters or 10 topics, we can call them. Every topic is further divided into certain subtopic. So we are going to cover everything, and we will provide video explainers for every concept that is given in the syllabus. We will try to help you apply those concepts to paper 2 side by side, because even though the papers are different, but nowadays what has happened is that paper 2 questions, that means India specific questions, are being asked in paper 1, and paper 1 questions are being asked in paper 2. So because the examiner is not differentiating, that is why you should also not differentiate during your preparation. Also, you can write paper 2 thinkers in paper 1 and vice versa. Secondly, we will also give you micro notes. These micro notes will be for your revision. These will be very short. Some will be in the form of tables, flow charts, or mind maps, or pointers if needed. Or if we feel that there are certain books where explanation of something is very good, that we will attach. Okay, so these are the things that you will require for revision. They will include the concepts plus current. Current means the news as well as statistics, reports, everything. We will also have regular review sessions, recap sessions, or quizzes, where we will give you some kind of, either it could be MCQs, or we will give a short question paper, and let's say for 5 questions you can attempt and submit, and those will be evaluated. We will mostly focus on thinkers. Thinkers means sociologists belonging to the West as well as India, and jargons means those new terms which are related to sociological research, sociology, Indian society, all those new terms, those are very important. You should know the definitions. So we hope that this course is going to help you, first of all, in developing a sociological vocabulary. Why is this important? Because this vocabulary will be used in your answers. For example, social structure, social change, cultural lag. These are some terms which will be very common for you. You will become very fluent in these kinds of terms very soon. You will also learn how to apply the theories. The theories are known as perspectives. So theories of, for example, Karl Marx. You may have heard of Durkheim, Weber. So different thinkers, you will be introduced to these thinkers, their theories, how do they differ, comparison. Also, you will be defining every term, very important. You should know the meaning of every term. And a sociologist has to be critical. What does critical mean? It does not mean criticizing. It means you know the pros and cons of every issue. You do not have to be one-sided. You do not have to be biased, but you have to be a neutral observer. A neutral observer does not mean you leave all your feelings and everything. It simply means being wise in your understanding. So, this is what a sociologist or an aspiring sociologist should have. Now, if you haven't started sociology preparation, what will happen is when there is a direction, your speed goes on increasing. You know that this is the right way. You do not waste your time thinking, oh, I should have studied that book, not this book. Is this sufficient? What will happen? So, this question does not bother you. You are tension free in that area and you simply focus all your energies on reading, understanding, revising, testing yourself, and your time is safe. You do not waste time. We ask you or advise you to spare at least 2 hours daily. That is the minimum requirement. If it is more, very good, but 2 hours at least you should devote. Please ask doubts. This is very important because later on, if you do not ask doubts, they become huge and they are the reason why you are not able to handle questions in the exam hall. Then you have to revise whatever you are reading, whatever targets that we give, you have to keep revising. At least start from weekly if it is not possible for daily revision. Writing is very much important. You have to shed your inhibition, you have to shed your embarrassment, and you do not have to think what the other person will think of me. Forget everything. Simply start writing and taking tests. Your score does not matter. Remember always, your score does not matter. Ultimately, your flow of words is very important because in today's era, most of the students who are aspiring, they know how to write, they know how to express themselves, but the only thing is that they are not writing properly. So your thought has to be converted to your writing, to words, right? Now, what will be the schedule? Our schedule will be from Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday are for your revision or backlog or anything that you want to do. So daily what will happen? You will be given a target. Okay? You will be given a target. We will try to break the targets into smaller targets, smaller tasks. You have to complete it and there will be a question. You have to write answer to that question. We assume you have those UPSC QA booklets. So you have to write on those QA booklets which are mostly spiral bound, margins on both sides. Do not write on the margins, so write there. And here what will happen? Your answering ability will increase, your clarity will increase because when you write something down, automatically that concepts become clearer. Okay? In some areas, for example, the thinkers, if you are not able to write good answers, we will ask you to rewrite it. Otherwise, you can always keep a track of whatever extra value additions or whatever extra suggestions that we give in your answer sheet. So this is being done every day. A short explainer will be given to you in the weekly on the first day or let's say just the beginning of the week. So that will explain the task and then you will start all the tasks. At the end of the week, what is going to happen? You are going to get some kinds of revision notes. The main task or main function of these notes is to identify the areas which are important. Okay? Because let's say the syllabus has been given, the portion also has been given, and you know from where, which chapter you have to do, which book you have to refer to. Still, you may feel that, ma'am, which area is important, which thinker is important, I am not able to get. So here what will happen? This will help you identify the areas that you have to give importance to. Sometimes what happens, when we do not know this, we give importance to the wrong areas and waste our time. So this will set things clear. We will try to have quizzes or tests every 15 days, preferably on either 15th or 30th or both, depending on the student's progress. So this will be done and you have to write answers. Please do not worry about perfection. Keep writing and definitely you will master answer writing. Okay. So here you might start with 5 hours daily. Let's say someone is studying full time. They may devote 5 hours. Then later on, when they get a proper understanding, 3 hours. And finally, only 1 hour when you are a master of sociology, probably only 1 hour is sufficient. So gradually your growth will be in the increasing order, okay? You will rise. Now, you might also think that what study material am I getting? So firstly will be the recordings, okay? These will be mostly explainers. That means a concept is explained, a topic is explained. These will be video. For emergency cases, for example, a particular person has certain doubt. Probably, if it's a short doubt, a audio lecture or audio, some MP3 will be given to you, okay? And these will be the micro notes plus your tests or any kind of explainer or extra value addition, statistics, anything related to current affairs, everything will be given in the form of PDFs, right? And although everything will be recorded, yet we will also have Zoom sessions. Some sessions where we will have a discussion session for a particular topic. If more number of people, they want a common discussion session, or if you want a Zoom session for analyzing your particular test, okay? So it can either be one-to-one, it can either be group. So this will be decided accordingly, but both these platforms will be used. Now, there will be many doubts regarding the availability of your teacher, of your mentor after this course is complete, okay? So definitely, because we are targeting mains 2026, so the mentor will definitely will be available till the main. So you are free to approach them, okay? So that will be there. And you might also ask the qualifications. So they have scored 280 in sociology. They have already written mains with sociology. Currently they are not preparing, but they have been teaching since 2019. You might be aware that this is the Telegram ID, this is the email ID if needed, and this is the WhatsApp. Although if you want to contact personally, another WhatsApp number will be given. This is the course fee, 14,999 if you want to pay one time. If you want to pay in installments, there will be 2 installments. The first one will be 8K. Okay. Now, how do I enroll? You can text for the QR code or any doubts that you have, last minute doubts. You will have to share the payment screenshot plus your full name, working email address, active phone number, because these will be used later on. We are starting on 17th, and although the last date was 15th, but yes, we might increase or change the last date, but it will definitely start on 17th. Now, before closing, I would like to explain or help you go through the schedule, because this is what is important to every student. When we start here, when we start on 17th, the first 2 weeks, we are not going to start immediately your tasks. Why? Because there are aspirants from every background, and if we suddenly ask you to write answers, they will hesitate. So you can consider the 2 weeks as warm-up sessions. What will happen here? First, we are going to explain the syllabus, and we are going to do a sort of classification. let's say the first paper, a majority of the syllabus consists of the sociological perspectives, the theories of paper 1. Whenever we say paper 1, it means the thinkers of the West. Why? Because sociology emerged in the West. It emerged in Europe before it came to India. That is why we have to study their theories, their perspectives, and what were the social conditions because of which sociology was born. So, this will be explained to you first so that you can feel a kind of rapport with the subject, which is very much important. Then you should understand that when we are studying society, there is a certain structure to society. So, paper 1 includes the concepts which are related to this structure. And what happens when there is a certain change in social structure? Because if you know, or for sure you must be knowing, that India was a third world country. But today we are a developing country and we want to be a developed nation. How did it happen? Because when we were a third world nation, we had a certain social structure. Then we underwent certain social change. We became a developing nation. Now we have a different social structure. So, this is the thing that we are going to study, the concepts in paper 1. And when we understand these, then what we are going to do? We are going to apply in paper 2. Paper 2 is about India. So, firstly, we are going to understand the emergence of sociology in India. Then we understand what do we understand by social structure or Indian society. This part is going to help you in your GS part, which is society, women. It will help you in those areas. And finally, we will also understand how India underwent change, how it is still undergoing change, what are the changes required, what are the social problems, and what are the challenges that we are facing. For example, we have extremist forces, we have poverty, we have to introduce women empowerment. So all these things will come into picture. This part will be much easier to grasp. This will take more time, but you will gradually be able to conquer this part, right? So once this is done, what is going to happen? We are going to go to the next stage. The next stage means we will start with the first topic and then we will move on, starting with the theory, terminologies and thinkers. These are very important. Now, when we do the thinkers, these are the thinkers. So what will happen? We will also relate with the thinkers of India, Indian society. Indian thinkers are more in number. In the West or Western thinkers, we have to study 6 thinkers, but Indian thinkers, there is no defined boundary. So, along with those mentioned in the syllabus, we will also do some extra thinkers going through the past trend. So, after seeing that trend, we have finalized that some thinkers have become important for the examiners. So, we have included them also. So, this is huge, you can see. Then we will start with research because, of course, when a person becomes a sociologist, they come to certain conclusions, they write PhDs or PhD thesis, and this is all done because of the research they are doing. This does not come by magic or someone tells them, okay, take this and write a theory. No, they have to do research. So this becomes very much important. And certain concepts again before you start the next phase. Here we will study about the social structure. What is society made up of? For example, in India, we have caste system, we have tribes. Then what about social change or people who climb the social ladder, who were poor but now they became middle class? People who were middle class now became upper class. So this change goes on happening. And then we have social institutions. Social institutions are not something made up of brick or cement, but these are things which we see. There is a pattern. Okay. For example, when we say economy, can we touch economy? We cannot touch. But we know that there is an economic sector. We have various parts. For example, the primary, the secondary, the tertiary. So these will be important, although not much detail like in GS, but you will get an overview and these will be related to the syllabus. How is it important to society? How is it important to women, to children? What is economy doing? Then we have politics. When we say politics, we are reminded of social movements. We have seen many social movements. We have seen Black Lives Matter. We have seen Me Too movement. So these are very important movements. Some of the movements we will have to remember. Then religion, of course, is important because they set the norms, customs of a society. But in recent times, in modern times, what is happening? The influence is decreasing. So this is known as secularization, right? So these are very interesting terms and you are going to enjoy studying these, and they will also help you in your GS preparation, in your essay. And finally, family, marriage, kinship, which is very important because here we understand how people of North India, people of South India, what are the terms governing marriage? Who is allowed to marry whom? Is intercaste marriage allowed? Is interreligion marriage allowed? So all these things we have to understand. And then we have something known as sexual division of labor. So how the different genders, they are dividing work between them. What is unpaid work? What is domestic work? Right? So these are the things which will be included. And what are the changes happening? Because definitely today the world is a global village. Everything is interconnected. What is happening in the West immediately comes into the news. We go to the Twitter and we see, okay, this is happening. For example, when George Floyd, he was murdered. So what happened? Immediately, even people who were not blacks, that is the Indians, we were affected. And what happened? The Fair and Lovely cream, it became Glow and Lovely because people started saying that here the dark people, they are being discriminated. So fairness is given importance. So imagine the power of this globalization. So everything that is important in the world is becoming important at the local level also. All this comes under social change. Social change can be with the help of technology, can be with the help of education, with law. So here we are going to study what are the theories, who are the thinkers who studied social change, how is it happening in the real world, what is the difference between third world, developing, developed nations, how does India envision social change, what is planning, what is Niti Aayog, what is happening in rural and agrarian sector, green revolution, then industrialization, urbanization, slums, migration, politics and society. We will have social movements, civil society, pressure groups, Here we have women, then we have environment, we have the transgenders or LGBTQIA+, all these, their movements. And then we have population. Here we read about mortality rates. We read about maternal health, reproductive health. We read about aging or aged and the elderly. And finally, challenges. In challenges, we will be studying about social problems. Can you name a few social problems or anyone? You can unmute yourself. For example, we have terrorism, okay? We have poverty. We have unemployment. Then we have child labor, child abuse, elderly abuse, right? Domestic violence. So these are some of the social problems. At the same time, they are also the challenges that we face. Recently, you may have heard of the violence taking place in Manipur. That is ethnic violence. So these are something which you are reading in news, and you will be easily able to remember them. You will be able to write them. Only thing is, you have to compile everything properly. You have to maintain a notebook, or if it is online, prepare a file for every topic of the syllabus. And when you arrange everything, when you organize everything, it will be very easy for you to revise, right? Here we also have the current affairs analysis for the topics which are in news. Few sessions on answer writing. If needed, we can also have these sessions in between also when the different tasks are given. Finally, there will be 2 full-length tests in paper 1 as well as paper 2, and we will have analysis plus evaluation. Although we will have doubt sessions in between also every week, but towards the end, if a person has any doubt, they can ask. Of course, after this also, till the mains, you are free to ask your doubts. Okay? So this is an overview of what you are going to expect or what you should expect in the coming days. Do you have any doubts? Please ask. Shreya, do you have any doubts?
No, ma'am. Everything is crystal clear. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. So,
Yes.
if you feel that you still have some doubt, you can also ping me. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes,
we
definitely.
had a very good session. Thank you so much for being attentive. And
Yes, ma'am.
I have shared Unit 1 from IGNU, Emergence of Sociology. Okay. So, what I want is that please go through that PDF once, because that should be your starting point for civil service preparation. Okay. So, please
Uh,
go through, yes.
ma'am, can I know that where did you share that PDFs?
Okay. I'll share you. Huh? I'll share it with you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I'll
Thank you.
share it with you, and then you can go through it.
Okay, ma'am.
So, all the best, and thank you so much. Yes, somebody wrote, Shreya, you wrote unemployment, juvenile delinquent. Very good, very good. Huh? These are very important. And if needed, you can also come up with certain kind of feasible solutions. So, whenever you are studying sociology, always remember that you are a civil servant or you are an aspiring civil servant who is studying this discipline. So, your solutions, if needed, anything that you analyze, should be from that point of view. Okay, suppose you are in that position and you have to tackle the poverty in a certain area. What will be the steps that you will be taking? So all these things should come to your mind whenever you are brainstorming on any newspaper article or any article. Then immediately you should think of what will happen, what should I do, what will I do. Okay, so these things will definitely come to your mind and it will help you become a very good civil servant. So all the best, thank you so much, and keep in touch. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.